Okay. Um yeah, yeah, scapegoat. Uh as logic says, the first step to having a relationship with me is knowing you exist. But Christians will say, "Oh, but you do know he exists. You're just not seeing it for some reason. You're willingly not seeing it for some reason." No, you know. And then they'll say something like, well, the heavens declare the glory of God. And you're like, really? Really? That's what you're going to go with? Look at the trees. That's what that argument boils down to. Look at the trees. Doesn't make much sense, does it? If Christians had an argument, they would have made it by now. Just saying. Okay. A couple of things. I may have to go pretty abruptly. Um, I'm having a lot of anxiety today. So I may have to go abruptly. Gonna try not to. Um, but my anxiety just started about an hour ago. And I thought, well, I already promised I would do this, if only to myself. So I'm like, well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So, just be aware of that, please. All right. Um, Now, hell is actually a Christian invention. It's found nowhere in the Jewish scriptures. Um, People say it is, but the hell, quote unquote, in the Jewish scriptures is just talking about the grave. It's not talking about a place of eternal torment. It's just the grave. So, in other words, if you're not resurrected during the Messianic age, I think it's during the Messianic age that they believe people will be resurrected, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look that up. Um, you're just, in other words, they subscribe to a form of annihilationism. Well, not heaven the way Christians think of heaven. The Jews don't believe that anybody will be going to heaven, as far as I know. And again, that could be something I'm reading into it. So don't take that as gospel. But as far as I know, Jews believe that people, even the resurrected people, are going to be on earth. Psalm, can't remember can't remember the verse, but Psalm says something about um, the righteous shall inhabit the earth, you know. So they don't believe that people will be going to heaven, you know. So, all right, that was in response to Scapegoat Iscariot's uh, response. Uh, so, um, so let's talk about this concept. Hey, Selena. So let's talk about this concept. Um, I've talked about it before, and um, it doesn't seem okay. Like logic says, if you want to have a relationship with me, the first thing you have to do is prove to me that you exist. Prove to me that you exist. Then, you know, we'll get to know each other and I'll decide whether, you know, I want to have a relationship with you. That's the way it works. You can't say, um, well, you've got to love me because love is an emotion. Okay. Love is an emotion. Nobody can force anybody to love them. It's just that simple. But the Christians think that God can make people love them. And they are right in a sense that if they think their God is omnipotent, then why doesn't he make everybody love him? And then their response is, hey, Nevermore, hey, Satan's little helper. And then their response is, well, he wants everybody to have free will. Bullshit. Because in this, okay, so think about if things worked the way the Christians say it works. Okay. And I'm not talking about annihilationists like the J Dubs here. I'm talking about Christians who believe black and white, heaven and hell, you know. Okay. So imagine this the way Christians imagine the world works, right? Okay. So if you don't love God, you go to hell. Why should I be, first of all, like I said, prove to me that you exist. Then, we'll get to know each other. And then I'll decide whether I want to have a relationship with you. That's step one. If I don't know that you exist, why the hell are you saying I got to love you? Second of all, if you're an all loving God, why are you telling me I need to love you in the first place? Because that's not free will. Third, if you're omnipotent, you can make somebody love you, whether they want to love you or not. Okay. And then hell wouldn't be a problem. And it's just like, when you're in this kind of mindset, you don't really see the problems with it. You only see the problems when you get out of that type of mindset. And so so yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Christians say their God is all loving, but he sends people to hell. And they'll tell you, "Oh, he doesn't send people to hell. You send yourself to hell." What? That makes no sense. That makes no goddamn sense. I mean, if it was like the Greek hell where it was just an afterworld, maybe, you know, but it doesn't make any sense that you would choose, that anybody in their right mind would choose to go to a place of torment forever and ever and ever. And thank goodness that's not the case. So anyway, either you're and this is another thing with the omnipotence of God, right? So say, okay, for sake of argument, I don't believe this, okay, but for sake of argument, let's give him the free will bit. Let's give the Christians the free will bit for sake of argument, okay? If God was omnipotent, then he would not have an and or dilemma when it comes to the unbelievers. Okay. Yep, exactly. Uh, he could make it annihilationism like the J Dubs believe. He could send you on a cosmic cruise for the rest of time. I mean, he's supposed to be all powerful, right? He's supposed to be omnipotent. So it doesn't make sense that he's stuck in an and or position. And I'm talking about him like he exists, okay? And I don't believe that. But it's the only way this is going to work. So so if there's no mention of hell in the Bible, except in the Old Testament where it says where hell um is the grave, okay? Um If there's no mention of hell in the Bible, where did this come from? And the truth is, I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. But I will say this, it is a very effective tool to keep people in the church because, people, they don't want to burn forever. I can't even think about that. I mean, what kind of a loving God would send his children to a torment chamber for the rest of eternity? You know what we would call a human who constructed a torture chamber and kept people in there and did who knows what with them? Hey, Carol, we would call that person evil. Why does God get a pass? Tell me, why does God get a pass for doing things that you would never, ever accept from another human? Now, actually, she has hundreds of answers because she's like, every goddamn time she tries to describe heaven, it's different. So, yeah. So, I just want to ask the Christians out there, why do you excuse behavior from your God that you would never accept? Never accept from another human. You want to talk about a double standard? There is a double standard. And you know what? Don't try the hell shit on me because it will not work. It will not work. And I used to believe in hell, at least I thought I did. I was taught that it was real. But it's pretty dang obvious it doesn't exist, which is a good thing. And while we're on the topic of hell, let's talk about heaven. I want to ask you, Christians, and you probably haven't ever thought of this, okay? You probably haven't ever thought of this. Who wants to live forever? Hmm? Tell me that. Have you ever really thought about it? Have you ever really thought about, do I really want to live forever? Even if there's no sickness, even if there's no pain, would you want to live forever? I'll tell you my answer. My answer is no. My answer is no. Because I would get bored to tears. I would. I'm the kind of person I always need intellectual stimulation. The kind of heaven I was taught about was you're singing praises to God all the goddamn time. What kind of an intellectual stimulation is that? And if God would change me to not need intellectual stimulation, then is it really me that's going to heaven? Think about that. Think about that. And if we're talking about believing in Jesus as a way to go to heaven or go to hell, then we can be as bad as we want to. And it doesn't matter. Just some things for you to think about. You know, these people, they don't think about their faith. They don't. They don't give it any thought. And that's what their leaders want. That's what their leaders want. Because if people really gave this hell thing some thought, or the afterlife in general, the afterlife idea, they have to turn off their brain. Of course, in order to accept Christianity, you have to turn off your brain anyway. But, I mean, what do you and another thing you have to think about heaven, you know, do you really want to worship the monster that committed the biggest genocide ever? Because Christians, that's who you worship. You worship a God who is going to commit the biggest genocide ever. What kind of a God is that? What kind of a God solves problems with violence? That's what an evil person does. That's what an evil person does. Or a sociopath because they never learned, you know, social skills. Doesn't make any sense. Use your brain. Use your brain. You've got it. Use it. Use it. Anyway, I'm going to go. Um, don't forget to do the things with the buttons. Um, thumb up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. It helps the algorithm. If you want to become a member, you can become a member for as low as 99 cents a month. I also have a PayPal linked in the description if you would like to give a one-time donation. So anyway, see you guys later. Bye.